following program was produced by a PAC TV community producer and does not reflect the views or opinions of the PAC TV staff or the PAC TV Board of Directors. The content contained herein is the sole responsibility of the community producer.
This show is a new show. First 3 minutes or so is news about the Mayflower. But the second part is on June 5th. It's actually October 6th, 2004. So it's October 6th, 2004. So what put on the ballot? Just put it on the ballot. This staff is they denied me entrance to the Mayflower, the boat, because I had a camera, even though I'm a regular swimmer. I was even willing to pay $20 to get on, and they said, no, you can't come on. You have a camera. The Chinese people won't own cameras. So they kept me on the Mayflower. Meet me on the Mayflower. And then it's October 6th, 2002. Meet me on the Mayflower happened about 5 years ago, 4 years ago. So,
Hi, this is Mark, and this is City Lights, City Streets. No, it isn't. It's World Talk Radio from the bunker. Yeah, you'll be hearing World Talk Radio from the bunker a little later. I was going to give you a show on the boat, but they won't let me on. I'm an American citizen and I'm a resident of the town of Plymouth, see? And they won't let me go on with a camera. They must think I'm an Arab. This is your America. Today is October 6th, 2004, Wednesday. And I'm in historic Plymouth, Massachusetts, or any town in America. Well, it's not any town in America. Well, I guess it is any town. And you can see me Monday night at 8 o'clock, Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, Channel 13, Plymouth, Kingston. And 10 to 12 p.m. on Friday, a 2-hour epic every Friday, 2 hours. So you bring your music, entertainment, jokes, laughs, politics, satire. You can try to sell you crap you don't want. And this is Put It on the Ballot. I gotta check my timepiece to make sure that we do this, put it on the ballot in a timely manner. Congress has debated the same 15 crucial issues that face America and the world today for 200 years and voted against us every time. That's why we have to put these issues on the ballot. Let the voters decide these 15 crucial issues: affordable housing, affordable medical, affordable education, better jobs, minimum wage $15 an hour. Put it on the ballot. Congress has voted on these same issues for 200 years and voted against us each time. I think we should take these 15 crucial issues that they have been debating in Congress, politics for 200 years, and put these issues on the ballot. Let the 200 million registered voters decide our fate, not Congress. They haven't been doing a good job for over 200 years. And I'm in Plymouth, Massachusetts, historic Plymouth, Massachusetts. If you can't put it on the ballot in Massachusetts, then where can you put it? Did you see the debate the other night, the vice presidential debate? Presidential debate. I didn't hear them talk talk about the American people at all. The citizen streets, the unhealthy people in America, the poor, the elderly, the sick, the ones in need of a job, affordable housing, affordable education, affordable health care. I didn't hear them mention anything about that. All they talked about was their war records, what one is doing to the other. They very rarely spoke about the American person, family, community. When you want to elect these people, that's why we got to put it on the ballot. Put all those 15 crucial issues of the day on the ballot. Affordable housing, affordable education. Do you want marijuana legalized? You have 200 million registered voters who go out to vote on that, I'm sure. Don't you think so? That's why you got to put it on the ballot. Put this on the ballot. Write me in a state representative, Mark, put it on the ballot, and I'll get everything on the ballot. I ain't kidding you. I'll get everything on the ballot. Why not? Congress has been voting the same 15 crucial issues that face society and civilization in America for the last 5 years, and I voted against this all the time. Here are the 15 crucial issues that face America today. We should have to be able to vote directly on the ballot ourselves. Majority rules, doesn't it? No, I guess not. In Iraq, they elect presidents by popular vote, by majority vote, but in America, they don't elect presidents by majority or popular vote. Now, who has more freedom? Put it on the ballot. We get these t-shirts. Put it on the ballot. And home again consignment furniture on the corner of Somerset Street and Broad Street. It says put it on the ballot. You want to thank G&G Silk Screen Hand Embroidery for printing those shirts up. You got freedom of speech, put it on a tee. We urge all young people of all ages to put their sayings on a tee. Right down at G&G Silk Screen and Embroidery. You do it inexpensive, and you can voice your opinion on your shirt like you ought to. Just write me in a state representative. I'll get things on the ballot. I'll take my salary of $50,000 and hire signature gatherers of registered voters, and we'll have them sign petitions that say that they want these crucial issues on the Massachusetts state ballot, a binding ballot, whereas the majority who vote yea win. We gotta bring government up to the 21st century. No one can tell me out there in America, from sea to shining sea, purple mountain majesty, no one out there can tell me that presidents and Congress know the conscience of America. No one can tell me that they have the psychic ability to know each and one individual how they would vote on an issue. That's hogwash. It's snake oil. Get real. Put it on a ballot. Put all the crucial issues on the ballot. Do you want affordable housing? Yes. Congress voted no for 200 years. Do you want livable wages? Congress voted no for 200 years. We say yes. Put it on the ballot. Do you want abortion legal or illegal? You know, that seems to be a big fight. You know, put it on the ballot. Let the majority of the people decide. It's enough of Congress. Do you want capital punishment? Put that on the ballot. Do you want minimum wage to be $15 an hour, which it should be? Put it on the ballot. Do you want the 1 billion acres of land that the federal government owns to be built with homes, single-dwelling homes on acre lots? The federal government owns 1 billion acres of land in America. That's 1/3 of the United States. They put chipmunks over children, pine cones over people. Yeah. Put it on the ballot. You want to phase out nuclear power plants. There are known deadly substances that remain radioactive for 700 million years. A constant, persistent threat to the health and safety of the company, whereas the taxpayers' money have to monitor this waste for 700 million years. Now you tell me whether that's safe and cost effective. Do you want wind power? Put it on the ballot. Don't let Congress decide. We want clean, renewable energy. Get real. Put it on the ballot. You know, it's your legal voters, citizens, country's right to put things on the ballot, but normally one person has to collect 4,000 signatures to get things on the ballot, and then it's up to Congress and all that rigmarole, gerrymandering, red tape to say, okay, we'll put it on a binding ballot, but I say it's our right to do it. And if you elect me state representative, I will spend my salary on getting signature gatherers to gather these registered signatures, and we'll put all these things on the ballot, bring it up to Governor Lonnie and say, these are our 15 demands. We want affordable housing, livable wage, better jobs, less health costs, etc., down the line. And we'll give it to him. The majority has spoke. When he turns his nose up against it and says, no, the budget stays the way it is, now you know who you're dictating to is America. This is Put It on the Ballot with Mark Ward. I'm on every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock at 8 to 8:30. I'm on Monday night at 8 o'clock and Tuesday 8 to 9 and Friday 10 p.m. to 12 midnight. It's a show. We always have a lot of laughs, so going into that 2-hour epic. Been on for 7 years. Today is October 6th, 2004, and I just want to say that, I ran for selectman and got 1,400 votes or something like that, and, you had the chance at the local level. Now I have to go to the state level, and then the federal level. We have to knock down these bureaucratic doors with red tape, gerrymandering, politicking, that politics help politicians, their families, associates, friends, and big business could care less about the American public. In that debate last night on October 5th, 2004, at 9 o'clock, vice presidential debate, I hardly even heard them even speak of the American people and their needs. Only the needs of Halliburton, only the needs of their power struggle, only in the needs of espousing ideologies that have been espoused for 200 years and have not been acted upon. And this is where the truth lies. Put it on the ballot. Like I said, write me in, State Representative Mark Ward. Put me on the ballot, write me in. If every person in Plymouth told 10 people to do that, I'd be your representative, and I would get these issues on the ballot, like do you want marijuana legalized? Do you want gambling legalized in Plymouth, Massachusetts? Do you want even prostitution legalized in Massachusetts? It's up to the people to decide these issues, not Congress. Congress needs to stay out of our pocketbooks, and they need to stay out of our bedrooms, and they need to stay out of our personal records, our library records. They need to stay out, and that's the USA Patriot Act, and we don't appreciate that. I said, you want the USA Patriot Act mandated banned as of today, October 6, 2004. Put it on the ballot. Let the people decide. Not Congress. You know why the USA Patriot Act was passed by Congress unanimously? Is because the enemy. They're all clowns, folks. But remember, we're the ringleaders. We crack the whip. They think they're in control of the politicians. Well, they're not. They constantly say they are, but they're not. That's why you gotta write in your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, your uncle, your friend. Mark Lord, American candidate, I cannot be bought. What good is a society if you just go through life, make money, buy a car, buy some nice shoes, go to an amusement park, if you don't help out your fellow human being? Because when all is said and done, folks, we all die, and your legacy will be what when you die? That you made X amount of dollars? That you helped pave the road, which is a good thing? Or do you want to be known as helping your fellow man? Because what else if we just strip away everything from people, and what do you got? People. You know, when a disaster hits, everyone comes together, right? They say, oh, it was amazing how all these people came together. We got fresh water and stuff and all this, right? Is that what we need, disaster, to bring us together? Well, there's a disaster going on at Daniel Morton Elementary School, and these parents should be outraged. Outraged. But instead, they listen to the teachers and the nurses and the doctors that say, oh, your child has a mental problem because you're not bringing them up right. Oh, your child has a constipation problem because you're not feeding them right. Your child can't learn because they have a deficit disorder. It has nothing to do with the bad air quality in the school, which gives you memory loss and confusion. And I say, my fellow Americans and my parents and the teachers and the students, do you want your kids in a system, in a building, that poisons them to the fact where they have memory loss and confusion when they need memory? Where they need non-confusion? Well, I have some prime words for those people. They're fascists is what they are, because they have the information and they don't follow through. They're fascists. They just as soon sign your kids up to the gas chamber, because every time they go into Nathaniel Morton Elementary School, it's like a gas chamber, because there's not enough air for the students to breathe, fresh air. And the pollutants are building up because there's no local exhaust. And then they say, well, we'll open the windows. That will bring oxygen in the building. No, it doesn't. It brings a minimal amount of oxygen in the air. And anyway, according to Corey Holmes of the Emergency Air Quality Division at the State Health Department, engineer, scientist, who did the original test at Nathaniel Morton Elementary School, he says, Mark, when you open up the windows, it makes it worse, because it blows all the pollutants that are settled on the ground up into the air, and the kids breathe it in. It makes it worse. So this idea that you open up windows is a bunch of hogwash and a hog crap. According to Mr. Honorable Corey Holmes of the Emergency Air Quality Division of the State Massachusetts Health Department. Some hero, some honorable person he is. When I called him up a year ago and I talked to him on the phone for 1 hour, I said, Corey Holmes, these people in Plymouth, these principals, these superintendents, these health inspectors, the parents, they're just not getting it. They're not getting the fact that the kids are being poisoned by bad air. They're not getting it. Are you willing to come on my show and to read the report that you did, scientifically did, that took weeks to do and months to correlate the data? Are you willing to come on my show and tell the people the way it is, like you told me on the phone today? And he said, no. That's not a health inspector. That's a fascist. What good is having a health department and organizations and institutions that are supposed to protect us, the public, when in fact they write recommendations, spend thousands of taxpayers' dollars doing these tests, these scientific tests, come to the conclusion, and then they don't do anything about it? Because you can vacuum and wash walls all you want, but as long as you do not have that local exhaust in there, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. So what good is an organization like the health department doing these tests in the first place? We may as well have anarchy. Well, we do. And the fascists are running the government. Something needs to be done from the local level to the state level to the federal level. From the presidency itself, it's contaminated with greed, hate, control, power. And this is Mark, and this is City Lights, City Streets. Today is June 15th, 2003 in this 21st century. I'm on 7 days a week. The PAC TV is going to try a technicality to get me off the air. This is what I truly believe. They may say different, but I truly believe it because I've asked for my personal papers at PAC TV that they have on me, documents they have on me. They're about me, and I have a right to see them, and I don't get to see them. There's an art show June 28th at PAC TV, and I asked for an application 3 times. I've yet to receive one. That's against my civil rights. Is it a private organization or a public organization, PAC TV access? I thought it was for the public. Now, why have I been denied my right to enter an art show that they're sponsoring? Not even given an application, for God's sakes. It ain't so much that I want to show my artwork. It's the fact that they're denying the public their rights. Remember I was telling you about Officer Higgins, who was fired off the police force because he did something off duty, which he shouldn't have done, but everyone's human. He was fired off the police force because he made a mistake in his life off duty. And people say, well, so what, let him, whatever. But we have to get him back on the force because that represents all of our rights. Because once they start firing police officers on their day off because they did something wrong, then they're going to start firing teachers because they did something wrong on their day off. Or they're going to start firing plumbers, electricians, carpenters, people that work at McDonald's, anybody that has a job at all. Just because you did something on your day off, you're fired from your job. You're fired from making a living. And that ain't America, America. There's these guys, you gotta watch them. It's called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. It's on a 5:30 to 6:30 Friday night live show. Call these guys up, Frank Paluccio and Charles Checkley. Call them up and voice your opinion. They'd love to hear it. Well, I'm gonna voice my opinion now about something that they had said last week, Friday, on their live show, 5:30 to 6:30. Pepsi-Cola sent out a shipment of Pepsi, and it said the Pledge of Allegiance on there, but it omitted "in God" and what did it say? My pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to which it stands, under God. So they omitted "under God," and Frank Paluccio and Charles Checkley says, well, you need to boycott Pepsi because they didn't say "under God." Who are they? They aren't Congress. Who are they? They're not the president. You know who they are, guys? They're an American citizen, and they have a right to do whatever they want. That's where you're missing the point. I pledge allegiance to the American people, for which it's supposed to stand. Under this sacred earth, one nation, where we don't get what we need. We get rations. And we want liberty and justice for all, not just the rich, not just for the greedy, powerful, and tall, those political dandies. You know, I always said if Congress ever did blow up, right, say if the plane, you know, instead of hitting the cornfield, it hit Congress and it blew up, right, you wouldn't even be able to find the remains of it. You wouldn't be able to identify the remains of anybody in Congress because they all have the same haircuts. They all have the same bone structure. They all have the same blue suits. The only way that you can remotely identify these scallywag, dandy, burnt, disintegrated ashes to ashes politicians is by their dental records, and even then they have the same dentist. I say if Congress ever did blow up by some terrorist act, I say just pour a giant concrete over it like they did in Chernobyl to keep all that radioactive waste from going into the air. I say pour a cement dome over Congress so none of that hate and that scallywags and that greed can seep out and infiltrate the American youth of today. constantly people say, well, you're not qualified. You didn't go to college. Harry S. Truman didn't go to college either. And he was considered one of the greater presidents. They said, well, you're not qualified to be president of the United States, Mark. What's there to be qualified for? You see a health report, a state health report that says it has bad air in the school, kids are getting sick, chronic illnesses for life, you need a local exhaust. Hey, well, that makes sense. Yeah, why don't you do that? That's all that is, folks. Just try reading between the lines. Like the words. Is this on? People care more about that Mideast conflict, you know. They say, you know, a busload of Jews were bombed, you know, and 12 of them died, or 14 died, and 114 injured. But yet, the Jews retaliate to the Arabs, and they blow up, you know, a car that kills a child and stuff, you know, so... And then they say, oh, the Arabs are the terrorists, you know, like... Is this on? Is this on? When you retaliate with terrorist attacks on civilians, because your country was attacked by terrorists on civilians, you're the same as the terrorists. Don't you get it yet? When 9/11 occurred, everyone said, oh, we gotta bomb somebody, you know. Well, we said it was Bin Laden, so we went after him, didn't get him. Nope, didn't get him. So we couldn't get him. So now then Bush said, oh, it must have been that guy Saddam Hussein. Yeah, that's who it was. Let's go get him. So they went to get him, didn't get him, didn't get him. So now they're saying, oh, Iran is sticking their nose into Iraqi business. Let's go get them next. Oh, North Korea is sticking their noses into it too. Let's get them because they're building nuclear bombs. But yet people don't know that George Bush on 2002, either 2001 or 2002, signed a memorandum on April 1st to give North Korea $95 million to build their nuclear energy plants. Our money went to North Korea, $95 million to help North Korea build their nuclear power plants. And we all know that the waste material from nuclear power plants is the main ingredient to a nuclear bomb. So now Bush gives North Korea $95 million to make their nuclear energy plants, knowing quite well that the waste of nuclear power, you turn into nuclear bombs, and now he says, oh, they're the axis of evil country. It's all about control, man. And we got to bring back control to the American people. We got to bring that $95 million that went to North Korea to us to make windmills in Nantucket. You know, they're talking about Nantucket Sound, this island off the coast of Cape Cod, Massachusetts. And they want to build 23 miles of wind farms that would provide all the energy needs for all Cape Cod residents, something like 25 million people. Well, I don't know about if it's that many, but maybe 3 million. All the residents on Cape Cod. It's going to provide the energy source. But yet, Delahunt, the congressman, he's against it. He says it's bad for the environment. Why don't they see him speaking up about the nuclear power plant in Plymouth, Massachusetts, where he's been to many forums over the last 5 years, and in public said he doesn't think there's anything wrong with the nuclear power plant. Again, did he get hit in the head like the rest of them? Is he getting paid off? I wonder if he got nuclear power, energy, political money like Vinnie DiMacedo did to run for his campaign $1,000. What is he talking about? Nuclear energy is safe. It's not safe. It's a known fact that the waste remains radioactive for 100,000 years, where it has to be constantly and persistently monitored for that time. Is this on? Hey, where's your dog? So nuclear power has to be the waste of the nuclear power plant has to be monitored for 100,000 years. Now you tell me where that's cost effective. Taxpayers' money again down the crapper. Because of politician payoffs, big business payoffs. Again, organizations like the presidency itself and Congress was set up by the people and for the people, are supposed to protect us, but instead of protecting themselves, their families, associates, and big business are going to care less about us. Wind farms are good. I tell you that it's got to change. Those billions of dollars that are going overseas to Saudi Arabia, $16 billion goes to Africa for AIDS research. $16 billion. So now we elect Bush as president. Well, I didn't, you did. Well, you didn't either, because it was fixed. And that's a known fact. And you can believe it or you don't have to. Then you just go read the book, The Cat in the Hat. That's more up to speed for you. It takes you 90 minutes to watch 60 minutes. So Bush, he's our fearless president, and he turns around and says, all of a sudden he says, well, I want to make a decision for the American people. I want to take $16 billion of American taxpayers' hard-earned money and give it to Africa for AIDS research. Well, why don't you just turn around and give that $16 billion to American people, with the kids in the ghettos that don't have an education, where they don't have breakfast, they don't have clothes and shelter? Why not home the homeless? Why not help the families that are struggling with the minimum wage is not a livable wage? So you give $16 billion to Africa to fight AIDS, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. The American government has given away a Titanic boat full of money, and just like the Titanic when it sank, us too, our Americans, will sink because we're not getting enough to eat and drink. And those people are the rat thinks. Those politicians, those panty waists, stink. We want a brink of sink. Politicians are dinks. Rat thinks. All of them. And you know, if all you people are smart out there, when Hillary Clinton got a $7 million advance for her book, don't buy it. You know? Haven't you had enough of that? Don't you know the whole story already? If you don't, you had your head up your rear for the last 5 years. You shouldn't care about politicians. You shouldn't care about Hollywood. Some folks like to get away. Take a holiday from the neighborhood. Hop a flight to Miami Beach. Or that glittery Hollywood. Well, I know I ain't gonna waste more time. Our quarter, our nickel, a dime, ain't worth a cent. I'm in a New York state of mind. I've seen all the movie stars and their fancy cars in their limousines. I've been high in the Rockies with Bullwinkle on the big screen. All I know, we ain't gonna waste more time. I'm in a Plymouth state of mind. This is marking the city streets. We're on Monday night at 8 o'clock, Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, Thursday at 10 o'clock, Friday at 10 o'clock, Saturday at 6 p.m., and Sunday at 6 p.m.
You only got one cigar. I already started smoking.
That's okay.
How often do you want that today.
Oh, you saw the show where I lambasted you.
When I was talking to you, when I got down there, you said, you should have offered me a cigar.
Danny, hi, how are you? Where's your dog today? Little snuffleupagus.
He's at home. He's taking a nap. Yeah, I go on physical therapy on my back, you know. And so
I got a problem with my back too.
I'm going into that pain clinic Tuesday for the epidermal. Epidermal. And then they're gonna put cortisone. They're gonna try to set up a pain block. I tell you, I'm scared.
Well, you shouldn't do it. Have you been taking painkillers and stuff?
No, they haven't given me nothing.
No, I mean, you need to take aspirin. That reduces the swelling.
Naproxen.
It helps me.
Naproxen is all right, but no one's, like, I'm not the one that's responsible. I'm not the one that keep passing the buck,
Keep passing the buck. I just had a lady that I talked to. Her name's Kathy in Kingston. Hi, Kathy. And she had a back operation where they put 4 stainless screws and a plate in her back. She said she would have never have done it. She would have just lived with the pain.
Yeah, I know. It's like if you do, if you don't. I know they've come a long way with the backs. It's not 50-50 anymore. It's a little bit better, but you know what I mean? I can't live like this.
I saw Jerry Lewis on a talk show, and he says there's 12 million people with back problems.
You really gained that much weight?
Well, that's because of the pills. That's his medication.
The prednisone, that's a steroid.
Yeah. He says this thing that's implanted in his back that you can get, it's a little vibrator that vibrates, and it makes your back, you won't feel no pain.
Well, that's what, like, I guess I'm good. I gotta wear, like, flat shoes. That's why I usually always wear my slippers something.
Yeah, you come in the picture.
You know?
So, yeah. You gotta always change your shoes, yeah.
Yeah, and I usually wear slippers. There's no...
Well, how do you feel about this? That I have a bad back, but I have to work every day too, right? So, I built stone walls. So imagine with a bad back doing that.
Yeah, well, I laid floors for 17 years.
There you go, that's what it was too.
Mason's tender.
Oh, yeah.
You know, painting, roofing. You can't do it.
You can't do it. You can't do it. You have to work yourself to the bone in order to make a living in America, because a minimum wage or even wages are not even up to livable standards.
I mean, I'm so far below it, like, I think I live on, like, I don't know.
2 cents a day, like everybody else. Hey, here's your pay. You know, you made $400 that week. Then after all taxes, all the taxes in the stores on cigarette tax, cigar tax, gas tax, food tax, clothes tax, pension tax, you got $20 left.
Yeah. This stuff. Well, I think
All right, this is June 15th, this will be on.
Yeah. All right, Chief.
All right, that's Sunday, 6 p.m. Take care.
All right.
Come on again, bring your dog.
I'm going to the store because, you know, they got the cheapest prices on the cigars. You know, not only that, they got dog bones.
Oh, there you go. All right, I'll see you, Dan. This is Mark, and this is City Lights, City Streets. And that was Danny. He had a hot dog. Do you remember the little dash on a couple of weeks ago? Well, maybe if you didn't, well, he had a dog, and we interviewed the dog. Like I said, dogs have more rights than the kids in Nathaniel Morton Elementary School. I want you to go down to PAC TV or call them at 830-6999. Tell them you want Mark to stay on the air. Tell them you want more, you want to see more of Mike Hogan. And go down there and sign up, pay your $20 fee, and you can come on TV and say anything you want, pretty much. You just can't call, you can't call a regular person gay or something, or some dirty remark to a person. But you can't about politicians, anybody in the public eye, anyone that's elected official or appointed official. You can say whatever you want about them. The only thing you can't have on PAC TV and public access TV is bodily fluids being passed to one another. Intercourse. But you can have social intercourse, cultural intercourse. Heck, I was just in Pennsylvania, and I was on a road called Intercourse. And they had signs that said slippery or wet. That's a fact. So they finally got machine gun guards at Logan Airport. It's about time. It only took almost 2 years to get them there. And this is Mark, and this is City Lights, City Streets. Hi, Kathy in Kingston, with the 4 screws in your back. I'm telling you, doctors will hack, hack, hack. If you have medical insurance, they're gonna hack you up good. They'll pull out kidneys,
hearts, lungs. And like I said, I'm selling my kidneys. Well, one of them anyway, so if anybody wants a kidney, it's only $350,000. You can either have the left one or the right one, I don't care. You should have a right to sell your organs. Doctors can make thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars on organ transplants, but the people that donate the organs don't get a cent? Come on. Again, institutions not protecting the people. Whatever happened to the Hippocratic Oath? You know the oath that doctors take, that they will protect the patients no matter what? People think that people who don't have health insurance in America, people say, oh no, they have health insurance in America. That's a bunch of baloney. If you don't have it, they're not going to treat you. Oh, they'll treat you for a virus, for a broken arm, a broken leg. But if you have a bone marrow disease, or if you have leukemia, or you need a liver transplant, they ain't going to help you because you ain't got medical insurance. And when you do have medical insurance, a lot of times those procedures are not covered by your insurance, and you don't know it until you need it. Morning. There's a non-fan there. And this is Mark, and this is City Lights, City Streets. Again, the dumb get dumber and dumber and dumber. Information is knowledge. So every time the government holds back information from you, or when corporations like the cigarette companies hold back information from you, you're not knowledgeable. You cannot make the right decision. If you're a diver and you're going to dive into the ocean off a rock cliff, right, in a competition, and the people that are running the competition, who you pay thousands of dollars to so you can get in this competition, and you're standing on a rock ledge, and you ask them very precisely and nicely, are there any boulders down there? Can you tell me if it's, I won't go killing myself. And they tell you, well, we can't tell you that. Information is power. And when cigarette companies advertise in teen magazines, cigarette smoking, my daughter picked up a teen magazine, right? Full-page spreads where this lady doesn't even show the cigarette will, it just says Salem cigarettes. And oh, refreshing, the best delight. And then they had her in a beautiful dress, and they had dragonflies that were real pretty. Everything that a teenager loves in life. And they associate it with the cigarettes of death. That should be against the law. And that should stick in your claw. Your craw. Watch my show and come see, and then you'll saw. You saw the lies right in half, and out will ooze the truth. Out will ooze the truth juice. Some folks like to get away. I'll be right back. Go get yourself a sandwich. I got a camera. Did you catch that about the Mideast problem? You see, Bush, Van Winkle, and Rear Admiral General John Stufflebuck and General Rumphead and Colin Powdercake, they want to bomb the hell out of Afghanistan, even though the Taliban had been laid and want to sit down at the peace table and to try to work out some sort of peace treaty so this war doesn't go on. But Bush turns around and says and gives advice to the Palestinians and the Jews in the Mideast and says,
why don't you guys sit down and hammer out a peace treaty with your terrorist war? But where isn't what is good for the goose isn't good for the gander, I guess, huh? The goose that laid the golden egg has died. And Bush and his cohorts and his cohogs and his warthog generals have eaten the golden goose. So we say to a guy from California, a Chinese guy, his name was Ying, you want to talk about the war? And he goes, oh, no, 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 no. And then I tell him they won't let me on the boat. And he says, no. I said, you got a camera, right? He says, yeah. I said, you got a video camera, right? Did you get on the boat? He says, yeah. And I go, why won't they let me? And I'm a citizen of Plymouth. I'm supposed to get on here for free. Sheesh. That's your America. I'm going to be giving up my American citizenship. Things don't change. People say this is the greatest country in the world. Well, a lot of good that does. When our civil defense was compromised, when 7 months ago they knew about these terrorist threats and these so-called attacks, they could have beefed up the airports then. I have a friend that says, well, if we had known that then, Mark, that they were going to bomb into maybe we would beef up the security. Well, we know about the nuclear power plant, and they're not, they still don't have potassium iodide for the people of Plymouth and the surrounding towns. But you can get it if you really want, and you can call Mary Lampert about that. This is World Talk Radio from the bunker. Stick around when you're going to get shortwave radio message from the bunker. Shortwave radio. So there's a forum in Duxbury, Massachusetts on terrorism and security at the nuclear power stations across the country. Not just Pilgrimville, not just Pilgrim. It's a forum for terrorism and security and nuclear safety for all the nuclear power plants, and it's at Duxbury Middle School Auditorium, 7:30 p.m. Wednesday night, November 14th, 130 St. George Street. I urge the selectmen, Tavares, and all the other people in the town will be notified as of today, Monday the 12th, that this forum does exist, and we'll see if they show up. And if they don't show up, they better show up. That's all I can say. And then we can show. Then you can. Then the whole town of Plymouth will know that your people that you elect, they don't care, because we have scientists, concerned scientists, nuclear safety engineers, nuclear physicists. We have Major General John Anderson from the U.S. Air Force Air National Guard, retired. Former Massachusetts Air National Guard commander, who was retired, and a United Airlines pilot, retired. And these people are all speaking at the forum on terrorism and security at nuclear power stations and how to beef it up, because obviously the politicians don't know what they're doing. We had to pay thousands of dollars to get these speakers to speak out on how to protect the nuclear power plant and to speak out about potassium iodide. And we had to pay thousands of dollars to get these speakers so that you can get the information that you need. And local politicians and state politicians do nothing. We the people, we the democracy, they the government, they're the hypocrisy. And Andy Card, chief of staff, who is he? Andy Card. Andy Card came to, was he chief of staff?
Andy Card came to Boston, Massachusetts, and he says that people need to protect themselves, and they need to get together. Well, that's what this forum is all about, so I hope to see you there. And that is on Duxbury Middle School Auditorium, 130 St. George Street in Duxbury, Massachusetts, November 14th, Wednesday at 7:30 p.m., and they won't let me on the boat. They won't let me on the boat. Well, we've had enough of this. We've had enough of this already. So this segment's gonna end right now. So I'll talk to you later. I'm gonna go somewhere else. This is ridiculous. Bye. We'll be right back.
Ryan decided they're not going to fire? All right. Let's get the taps. Get the taps all set. Yellow got one already? We'll get them to attention. We'll get taps. Freeze on arms and then you can start.
He's going to run out. Sorry, folks.
Present
Smart from City Lights, City Streets, and the battery's gonna run out, and we're at the Memorial Day, not Memorial Day, Veterans Day parade. And we got some of the politicians' scallywags on there, and that was a beautiful thing at Taps. And the battery's gonna die, so we gotta go. Just gonna let it go until it dies.
right there. Battery's gonna die in 1 minute. Hiya, Smart. Wasn't that veterans thing really good? And oh, you want to be on? You said, how old are you?
I'm 18.
You're 18. Let me see my identification. Here we are at Man-Met Point, I guess it's called, and we're at the Lobster Pound, and these guys ship lobster from all over the world. They're busy now. We were going to go in there and do it. Don, I guess, was there, and a bunch of other guys, and they're very busy, and we're at Man-Met Lobster Pound, and they ship lobsters from all over the world. All over the world, they ship lobsters. Yeah. All over the world. And this is Mark, and this is World Talk Radio from the bunker. Here we are still. We haven't gone away. And this is Mark. And this is World Talk Radio from the bunker. We're getting there. Hold on, folks. How'd you like that parade? Is that parade good? Sorry, Jamie, I couldn't have you on. Gotta get your past permission. Sorry. Hi, how y'all doing? Can you see me? I want to make sure that you can see me all. Sorry about that, Jamie. We couldn't have you on. We got guys from Entergy plant over here. They're driving by over here. Shouldn't they be at the plant doing security? This is Mark, and this is World Talk Radio from the bunker. Here's the Entergy guys. There they go. What are they doing here?
Is it on today?
Huh? Yeah. It's on tonight at 8:30. He's like, come on, say hello. Just say hello. Here we go. You're right with the ocean's a nice backdrop in the ocean.
Yeah, you should have been here Sunday.
Sunday was nice?
Oh.
There you go, that's perfect. Just come in a little closer. Hi, my name's Bob.
Yeah, I'm Joanne Gaquin. I'm an artist.
Hi, Joanne. Oh, you're an artist? Oh, isn't that nice? Joanne's an artist. Can you believe that? What type of stuff do you paint?
Seascapes.
Oh, nice.
Landscapes.
Did you ever paint this out over here?
No, I've painted the ocean.
Painted the ocean?
And Plymouth and the Cape and Maine.
Oh, very nice. Maybe you want to come on the show sometime and show some of your artwork.
I'd love to.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, that'd be nice. You need to go down to
You don't have to twist my arm.
Come on, Joanne. But you know something, Joanne, at PAC TV, they got a gallery there.
I know. I
Talk to
called
Nancy
once.
Richards. I'll talk to her.
Okay.
Okay, then you can call me, and I'm in the book on, Mark Wood.
Yeah.
And we'll get you going. I'm going to be on the gallery in the spring.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you need to book
That's a
now.
wonderful thing.
It's a wonderful thing. And that's probably the best thing. I don't know why they don't teach it more.
Oh, I teach in Plymouth. I taught this summer at the community, the Yellow House Studio, which is now the
Very nice.
Plymouth Community Art Center.
Yeah, Yellow House kind of paintings do you paint? Oh, you
Landscapes,
Impressionistic?
watercolors, no.
Realistic.
Sort of in between.
in between, you're realistic. So you can come up here and get some lobsters.
Oh, yeah.
And where are we now?
We're in Plymouth.
We're in Plymouth, and this is Manamet Point,
Manamet Point.
and this is what the Lobster Pound.
Lobster pound, and I just got a deal.
You got a deal?
Real deal.
A real deal. What, a 10-legged lobster?
No, I bought 4.
4 lobsters, wow. I was going to do a show in there, but they said they were busy. You have to ship lobsters all around the
Yeah,
world.
they do.
said.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You ever paint a lobster scene like what they
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah.
I paint on Monhegan Island up in Maine a lot.
Oh, yeah, a lot of rocks there.
Oh, cliffs, 150 feet high.
Beautiful.
It is.
Why don't you get in contact with me? We'll do a whole show just about your house.
Okay.
All right, Joanne?
Thank you very much,
All right,
Mark.
thank you.
Yeah, you have a good day here.
Watch it tonight. It'll be on about, it starts at 8:30, but you'll be on at 9:30 or so.
Okay.
But it starts at 8:30.
Okay,
Thanks,
thank you very
Joanne.
much.
We'll see you.
See you later.
Bye.
Yeah, see you at the studio.
See you at the studio. And this is Mark, and that was Joanne,
I
wasn't
gotta cook my lobsters.
She was gonna cook her lobsters. Notice how she didn't invite me.
I'll go buy a couple more.
You're gonna buy a couple more. Okay, Joanne, nice talking with you.
I'll be in touch.
Okay, bye. And that was Joanne. Wasn't she nice? She's a nice lady. Yeah.
Painting.
Huh?
Keep
Keep painting. Everybody,
Don't give up your day job.
don't give up your day job. But Billy Joel was on the other night, and he said that if you want to be a true artist, whether it be a writer like this, or whether it be a painter, you just got to just do it constantly. Because, you know, a writer or an artist or a musician, you don't say, well, what can I fall back on? Because if you think that way, you're not a true artist. That's what Billy Joel said. But I think everyone is an artist because Marc Chagall was a Jewish painter, and he said everyone's an artist. So that's what he said. Let me read this to you. Hi, Wes Ennis. Hi, Wes Ennis. Wes Ennis told me something about PAC TV, yeah. Yeah. He told me something about PAC TV. He was a director there, and how Dave Rodman and a few other directors wanted to take my show off the air. They said, how can we censor Mark? You know, this is what Wes Ennis says. I'm sure Wes won't mind me saying this because public access TV is just that. Public access. Not some grumpy old fart sitting around a table figuring out a budget for how many Dixie cups they need to buy for the bathroom. Right, Dave Rodman? Come on, Dave. When am I going to come on the show, Dave Rodman? That counterpoint with Larry Faber and you know, Frankie Paluccio. Yeah, Frankie. Yeah. The traveling coffee man. Yeah. Hey, Frank, how are you? Hey, have some coffee. Hey, Frank. Come on, you guys can take a joke. I don't care if you try to censor me because you can't. Whether I write it, whether I sing it, whether I dance it, whether I mime it. Right, Mary Lampert? You all gotta go to that nuclear thing on Wednesday, the 14th, at 130 St. George Street in Duxbury, Massachusetts, so that we can learn how to protect ourselves from terrorism at the nuclear power plants. And then you get the real inside about potassium iodide, the truth. Because Mary Lampert, wizard, not Pixie. Wizard got potassium iodide for all people, especially the school children. Larry Faber, don't do us any favors, okay? Don't run from me. I want to thank all the veterans of the past, fighting in wars from the Civil War to the Vietnam War. We want to thank all the veterans from World Wars, from World War I to World War II, the Korean War, the Gulf War. I am touched as everyone when I hear taps. But what a lot of people don't know where taps came from. Taps was during the Civil War, the American Civil War. And the father was on the blue, and the Army blue, and one of his sons was on the Army blue, and his other son was on the Gray Army, the Confederate Army. And the
son who's on the Confederate Army was shot in the field. When they went to retrieve the dead, they found this song. The song had been written in his pocket. This musical score was written in his pocket. And it has lyrics. I don't have the lyrics for you, Taps, but it's an awesome lyrics. I'll have to get it for you some other time. But the father of the Blue said, my son, who was a Confederate soldier, he wrote this Taps song, and I would like to have after the war, I would like to have this played, you know. And they said no, since he was a Confederate soldier, they said no, but they hemmed and hawed, and they said, okay, they can play it, but you have to pick one instrument to play it, and so the father picked the trumpet. So basically what the song means is that all war is bad, and that we are all brothers and sisters on this planet Earth, and we should all learn to get along. Because after all the bloodshed, and all the destruction, and all the murder, and death, and suffering of the Civil War, where blood actually trickled down the hills in Alabama, trickled down the hills in North Carolina, streams of blood, actual American blood, fathers against sons, sons against brothers, brothers against brothers. And it was an awful war, and what TAPS represents is that we're all human beings under the sun. We're all human beings. From Kalamazoo to Timbuktu, all over the world. So that's what TAPS is. And we need to take a look at war and say, why don't we go to the peace table now? Because in Israel, in the Mideast conflict, Bush is more or less ordering those people over there, Sharon and Arafat, to come to the peace table to their war on terrorism. Why not us? The Taliban wanted it, and there's enough bloodshed, and that's, you know, that's what I mean, okay? And in the Patriot Ledger, I read about an American soldier, veteran, who was in the war against Iraq about 9 years ago. He has Iraq syndrome. He has severe headaches and excessive fatigue, sometimes spending months in bed. He believes it was from the many vaccines and intravenous shots that he was giving during the war. When he contacted the American military to get his records, to see what kind of shots he was given, so that he could help in his diagnosis, so the doctors could help him. The doctors needed what kind of intravenous shots and vaccines this soldier was given. And when the Iraqi veteran went to the military to try to get these records, they said, we have no such records. In other words, he said, my suggestions to the soldiers in Afghanistan, anytime anyone shoots a needle in your arm, get a written document exactly what it is, because you're going to need it, because it could have saved his life today if he had it. And of course, we all know that the Iraqi soldiers have Iraqi syndrome, and the government's covering it up, and we know it. But the government, military government, did not release any records to this veteran who was in Iraq of all the many shots and vaccines that he did take. And now his doctors don't have a clue what he has. So make sure any soldiers out there, any families, members of that soldiers are in the Afghan war, make sure they get records of everything that is shot into their body. Point is, the government doesn't care about soldiers. We the people, they the government. They start the wars, let the young people go over there, and then they hide in their bunkers and let us take the hit. I don't think so. The people of America are under the false assumption that the World Trade Center was the most biggest loss of life in one day. Yes, of course, 5,000 people dead in one day is a horrible act of terrorism. But what we need to do is, though, we Americans as leaders of the free world, supposedly, we have world commerce and communication, the best in the world. We should use our world commerce and communication to give the better world a better understanding of other peoples and other cultures.
forging a new goal, a new understanding, a more communicative world, a tolerant nation to be tolerant of others' beliefs and cultures. Funding of space stations is a human alienation. People that settle their differences with persistent missiles aimed at other national officials rather than communicate go to the peace table now before it's too late. While we are still able, because raising Cain only will make us lame and will lead us back to the dark ages from whence we came. From whence we came. Wow, we need to go to the peace table while we are still able, because raising Cain only will make us lame and will lead us back to the dark ages from whence we came. The biggest one-day loss of human life happened on August 6, 1945 in Hiroshima, Japan, where 140,000 people were killed by an American atomic bomb. Vaporized instantly, evaporated into gas before their bodies even had a chance to decompose. 140,000 people dead instantly, like a flash bulb in a brownie camera. Not only 140,000 people killed, but thousands left legless, armless, dying of cancer, and thousands upon thousands of people till this day of 2001 are being born with genetic defects because of the fallout, the nuclear fallout. Radiation is passed on to the DNA, RNA chromosomes, and children that are born today are being mutated. Today, George Bush is setting us all up for a nuclear attack, not just on Afghanistan, but on American soil. Bush wants to drop the nuclear bomb on Afghanistan. This is my opinion. And this is City Lights, City Streets, and this is my dominion. Anyway, they are already flying, they are already shooting missiles and bullets impregnated with radioactive plutonium, just as they did in Kosovo. American government has fired bullets and missiles in Kosovo that were impregnated with radioactive plutonium. It's the bullet that keeps on killing. In other words, the spent bullets and missiles in Kosovo that are lying on the ground that already blew up, and the remnants are there. Anybody that handles the spent bullets and ammunition that gives off radioactive plutonium, which causes health problems, cancer, and death. 12 United Nations peacekeepers went over to Kosovo to inspect this problem, and 8 of them came down with cancer, but the United States government is denying that that's the cause. Give the bullet that keeps on killing, the impregnated radioactive plutonium bullet. After you fire it, it keeps on killing because of the radioactive particles that come off it when kids pick it up. Where is the golden clover? Yes, Bush wants to drop a nuclear bomb on Afghanistan, but if he does that, then he is dropping a nuclear bomb on Americans. Because yes, Bin Laden in the Arab world is just as powerful as the United States when it comes to weapons. And if we believe otherwise, then we are fools, and fools die in agonizing death. When are we going to learn? When is the world going to learn that we got to start understanding and communicating and believing? We the people have got to stop believing in ourselves and not governments anymore. We the people are the government of the world. They the hypocrisy of the democracy. We the people of the world are the democracy. They the governments of the world who cause wars are the hypocrisy. We the people are peaceful people of all worlds, all cultures. It's the governments, it's the Taliban, it's American government. They're the scallywags in this affair. We the people of the world, from China, Germany, Switzerland, Poland, Iceland, Canada, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Vietnam, Burma, Prussia, New Guinea, Italy, Chile, Turkey, Taiwan, Turkestan, Iran, Iraq, Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, Venezuela, Nova Scotia, Greenland, New Zealand, Japan, and all other countries and peoples of the world. Once all the citizens of the world realize we the people, they the government, only then can we put a stop to this madness of war. Finally we'll see what for war. Compromise. All relationships, all political, social, cultural, personal relationships is a compromise. Everything is a compromise. The Civil War between North and South was a compromise. Everything is a compromise. Compromise, compromise, communication, understanding. Don't tell us that you want the Jews in the Mideast with the Arabs to go to the peace talk with their terrorist war, when their blood, when their terrorism, when the bombs blow up on their buses and public streetways, blowing off heads of children and stuff. Don't tell them to go to the peace table. Take your own advice, Bush, Van Winkle, and wake up from your 100-year sleep and realize that peace and understanding and communication is the way to go. Stop the bloodshed. Let's not have any more. You drop a nuclear bomb on Afghanistan, you're dropping a nuclear bomb on the American people. And we the people are not equal. Bomb everybody. Kill everybody. There'll be no more constitutions, no more sequels. Governments, you are the weakest link. Goodbye. Don't forget to go to the forum. Wednesday, November 14th. Duxbury, Mass. Middle School Auditorium, 1:30 St. George Street. For the terrorists, security of nuclear bomb threats. Thank you. Goodbye. I'm Mary Lampert.